I don't even see the beginning of the train. I decided I would go to Mauritania and I would take that famous train across the Sahara. But first of all, I want to discover the country. I want to travel a lot of different places. I want to talk with local people. I want to find new friends and I want to know new culture. A few words about this train. This is the longest train on the earth. It can be 3 kilometers long. It's going daily between Zuerat city to Nadibu city. The total distance is more than 700 kilometers and it takes usually 18 hours up to 20 hours. And you can imagine that amount of dust and sand what you have to swallow and breathe during 20 hours trip. This is an iron ore cargo and nowadays it's getting more and more famous between tourists. Except a few villages, there is nothing, just desert for 100 kilometers, no shops, nothing. So if something happens there, the person is in really big trouble. The other special thing about this train, in one point, actually it's crossing the Western Sahara, which is an occupied territory by Morocco. After that, the train returning back to Mauritania. As you can see on the map, I just started my journey from Senegal. I crossed the border on the Senegal River and I entered to Mauritania. After that, I just hitchhiked the car. So a lovely family just picked me up. And on a pickup, I traveled on the next 7-8 hours to the Mauritanian capital, to Nouakchott. We just followed the river. The Google doesn't show there is road, but there is. So we just crossed one national park. And it was so amazing to see the wildlife, some camels and a lot of different type of birds and just the nature.
لا سيف استاقظ بك مهند من سيوف لله نسل
In the next 2 weeks, I stayed in Nouakchott with a lovely family, and I really enjoyed the time with them. Unfortunately, I cannot show you pictures about them, just to protect their privacy. After that, I found the transport, and I started my journey to the Tergit oasis. It was a local transport, and I thought everything will be fine, but not exactly. We just stuck somewhere in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And our car just wrecked, as it was expected. Usually it happens on the middle of nowhere. So now what's happening? One car just picked us up, and after 20 minutes dropped us again on the middle of nowhere. So now we are just walking here, and yeah, there are some camels around here, and tactically nothing. Is the closest town is like 100 kilometers, and if we're going back, then it's like 30 kilometers. But at least there are a lot of beautiful camels around here. They live in white, and look at this landscape and these hills. It's amazing. The weather is good, so just 100 kilometers forward. So this is the place where I was staying all night. So last night I was staying in this village, and which is really amazes me how friendly are the locals. They brought me free food, they brought me blanket, and one guy just let me to sleep on near by his shop. They said absolutely safe, 100% safe. This village, there is no crime rates. Actually, there are no criminals, and they were absolutely friendly. Like 2 a.m., the guy just brought me a big pot of food, rice, meats, and so on and so on. This is not the first time happening here, but still surprising me. Yeah. And I think this is the time to get some sleep. You know, here is the thing. If there is somewhere real freedom, I think this is it. When you sleep outside in a place like this, under the stars, in the nature, without artificial lights, artificial noises, you can hear just the silence or some kind of animals. You can hear just the noise of the nature. This is what I never could feel in the middle of the city in a rented room. This is something. And you know, always when I'm sleeping, sometimes on my way I'm sleeping outside, place like this, I feel I came home again, you know. This is what I never would change for anything. Believe it or not, but this is the water what the local people drink. So I'm gonna try it. Not bad. السلام عليكم. كيف حالك؟ عميل كتير كتير شكول ها؟ As you can see on the map, finally I reached Atar, where a very friendly local guy just invited to his home. I spent the night there, and next morning I just continued my trip to Zuerat. But it was not as easy as I thought before. We just stuck again in the middle of nowhere in the desert, second time in the last days. Oh, no, not again, please, not again, don't do this, no. So what is happening now? Second time we stuck somewhere in the middle of the desert, but now it's night time, and the closest city is like 50 kilometers, and our car is wrecked. So we just started to prepare some tea here in the middle of nowhere, and we are waiting for the wonder. Probably we will sleep here, otherwise we have nothing to do. So yeah, this one was the bus, and then I have the group. And we just prepared the tea here, as you can see. And poor animal still here. He has to suffer and wait for the mechanic.
عند البوسطة بوسطة الجندرمري والله
صاحب ديركم
تصفيات الناس ان شاء الله كنا ماشيين اختار نغسل ويوم نتيو جماعه نتيو ولا عندنا مشكله فطرنا ويوم نتيو لين جينا
لا شوف قطعنا وشرينا اسمع قطعنا وشرينا ليش قال الليل والنهار لا لا
من
Ah.
شوف ليش ايوه سوا ايوه هاي نعتوله هاي نعتوله زين الله هاي خالد هاي لا يعني لا اربط
So right now I'm going and try to find the train. So this is the first stop. Just get into the train here, and we will travel with this wagon behind me for a while after we have to change.
شاء الله. هنا. أنا من إنجلترا. إنجلترا. وأنت؟ هنا. أيوة أيوة أيوة.
After 20 minutes ride, we just stopped somewhere. They organized the train, they connected the field wagons, and I just changed my wagon, and I was just waiting for the beginning of the journey. So, finally I got on the train, and from now on it will be approximately 20 hours train ride through to the Sahara Desert, and it's approximately 700 kilometers. So it will be a really long journey. Just a couple of minutes ago, one goat escaped. He's supposed to be here on the train, but it escaped, so we started to chase some locals, and on the end of the story, the whole army was actually chasing poor animal, and they got it. In some way I wanted to catch it, but in some way I was hoping that it can make it. Yeah, so this is the life here, huh? So here we are. This is the end of the journey. 700 kilometers, almost 20 hours, and you can see my face and my clothes. How I am dirty. I will comment this later. But it was so fantastic and so difficult. So it was more than 20 minutes walk from the end of the train to the beginning of the train. 20 minutes. Incredible. On the end of this trip, there is one more topic I really want to talk about, and that is the hospitality of the Mauritanian people. You know, during a few weeks while I was traveling around Mauritania, I found really friendly people everywhere. I don't even have any bad experiences in Mauritania. And you know, like an Eastern Europe person, it's really heavy to get used to it when the people just want to give, and they do not want to return nothing. They don't expect nothing. So look some situations. A lot of times happened, you know, I just entered to a small village, someone invited me to drink a tea. And we started communication. You know, I speak a basic Arabic, which is, believe me, the Middle Eastern Arabic completely different than the Mauritanian Hassaniya Arabic. But in the base words we understood each other. And especially when they see you speak some Arabic words, they are more happy and more friendly. And after the tea, the person inviting me to eat. And okay, be my pleasure. I wanna pay. And they don't let me. And it's not one time happened this. And after that, few of them may be inviting to their house. They asking me to staying with them for a few days. A few times per day, they just bring tons of food, and they do not really understand. You know, I'm not there just to take their value. But you know, this is a completely different mentality. They are happy if they can share something. They can give you something. And a lot of times, even happened this story when I stayed with someone for a few days. The person said, "Oh, and where are you going?" You know, this conversation was in Arabic. Okay, I'm going for another village. And okay, I have a cousin there, so I can call him and I can tell him, yes, you can stay with them for a few days as well. And you know, sometimes they already waited for me when I reached the next village. So it completely was incredible. And you know, I'm actually happy again to visit places like this. You know, I've been around more than 90 countries, which is half of the world, but and not the first country where I visited a place like this, but again and again it's shocking me, because to see that how the life was before, probably in Europe as well, but it's not anymore. The West is not anymore like this, but there are still countries where the people living like this, and they have great heart, and they are happy if they can share the moment with you, or the food with you, or their place with you. One time they invited me even for a wedding, you know, and it was a mountain of food, you know. I actually they overfed me. And
Yeah, I can just actually recommend to anyone to visit Mauritania. Before this, I did not have so much information about this country because, you know, this is not a typical touristic place. And probably that's why the people still friendly like this, because the tourism did not destroy the morale. So Mauritania is one of the countries where anytime I would return.
دلالي ويدلل دلالي ويدلل لا 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 ويدلالي ويدلل ويدلالي ويدلل ويدلالي